Okay. Hello everyone, welcome to the class. Today's topic is very interesting topic. Okay, so that is locomotion and the movement. Okay, let us start the class today. Before going to the class, kindly tell me whether I'm audible and the screen is visible. I have run the poll. Answer me in the poll, Papun Sahu. Hello. Answer me in the poll. Is I am audible and the screen is visible? Okay, let us start the class. Okay, guys. So, can anyone tell me what is the locomotion and the movement? So, there is a difference between locomotion and the movement. Okay. So, when it comes to the movement, for example, we will move the things, right? For example, Celia, and so the movement is different when it compared to the locomotion. Movement is means just passing the things. Okay. For example, whenever so something is passing through the cilia, so it will just pass the thing, right? So that is called as a movement. Okay, when it comes to the locomotion, so it is from moving from one place to the another place, so that is called as the locomotion, right? So today we are going to learn about these two things today. Okay, so all the locomotions are movement, okay, but all the movements are not locomotions. Okay. Okay. So before going to start the class, so here is the question for you. During the strenuous exercise, glucose is converted into. Okay. So the question is during the strenuous exercise, glucose is converted into. Okay. So here is the option for you. Option A, starch. Option B, glycogen. Option C, lactic acid. Option D, pyruvic acid. Okay, guys. I will run the poll. Kindly answer me in the poll, okay? Hi, Shiva Desari. Okay, guys, answer me in the poll. 1 minute. Is it? 1 minute. Okay. So other link is also there in the group? Or I have to share once again the link? Guys, tell me I have to share the link once again or you will share? Answer me in the chat box. Okay, okay. Thank you, Shiva Desari. Okay. So guys, tell me in the poll. I'm going to launch the poll, okay? Very good. Shiva Desani answered in the chat box itself only. Very good. Okay, guys. 50% are voted. I'm going to give you only 30 seconds for you. 10 seconds more, guys. Okay, I'm going to end the poll. Okay, guys. I'm going to share the result with you. All of them have chosen the lactic acid. None have chosen option A, option B, option D. Okay. Okay, guys. So here they are given that during the strenuous exercise, whenever we are doing the strenuous exercise, the glucose is converted into the, that is in the anaerobic condition, right? During the anaerobic condition, the glucose was converted into the lactic acid. Can anyone tell me during the oxygenic condition what will happen? Okay, okay. I will wait for 2 minutes, guys. Okay. Overall, not answered this question. Kindly answer me in the chat box, guys. Answer for this question. Pyruvic acid. Why Papan Sahu? Pyruvic acid? Oh, it is in the oxygenic condition, right? Okay, okay, sorry. Right. In the oxygenic condition, it will convert it into the pyruvic acid. In the anoxygenic condition, without the oxygen, what will happen? Glucose is converted into. Can anyone tell me the glucose was breakdown into pyruvic acid, right? That process is called as. Which is that process? Can anyone tell me? That process is called as catabolic process, right? What is the name for this that process? Guys, answer me. Glucose was breakdown into pyruvate, right? What is that process is called as? Glycolysis, right? Okay, let us start now. Okay, during this strenuous exercise, the glucose is converted into the lactic acid. Okay, correct answer is lactic acid, whereas the starch, glycogen, and pyruvic acid is wrong. The lactic acid is the correct answer. All of them have given the lactic acid only. Good. Okay. So here, tell me, there is a second question. So the total number of the muscles in our body. Okay. Tell me the total number of the muscles in our body. Okay. Guys, answer me. I'm going to give you only 10 seconds. Very good, Shivani. Answer right. Answer me, guys. Only 8 seconds are left. Only 33% are voted. Okay. Very good. Okay, I'm going to end the poll in 3 seconds. Okay, guys, I'm going to share the result with you. Okay, all of them know that, right? So there is the number of the muscles in our body is 639. Right? Can anyone tell me what is the number of the skeletal muscle in our body? Number of skeletal muscle in our body? Shivani, Papun Sahu, can you answer me? Skeletal muscle in our body. Two not six, right? Okay, guys, let us go to the movement. When it comes to the movement, I told you, right, all the movements are not the locomotion, right? So here are the three movements, that is the amoeboid movement, ciliary movement, and the muscular movement. I'm not going to tell brief about this, very lengthy about this. I'm going to give you only small introduction. That's it. Okay. So here you can see, we know that what is amoeboid movement, right? So amoeboid movement is through the protoplasma, right? It is through the protoplasma. It will move from the one place to the another place. So that is called as the amoeboid movement. So the example of the amoeboid movement is, you can see in the leukocyte. So that is in the white blood cells, right? So that will also move through the amoeboid movement. When it comes to the ciliary movement, so this was through the cilia. For example, whenever you breathe, so there is in the trachea there is a cilia are present, right? So that will purify the air, right? So that is through the ciliary movement. And the third one was the muscular movement. So whenever your movement of the tongue, your movement of the hand, this all the things are the muscular movement. Movement of the eyes, this all the things are the muscular movement. Okay, guys. I think you know the difference between these two, these all the things, right? So striated muscles are the skeletal muscles, non-striated muscles are the smooth muscles, and the cardiac muscles. Okay, let us see what is the difference between this. Okay, guys. So we know that striated muscles are present in the upper limbs and the lower limbs, etc. Right? So here it was cylindrical in structure and it fires unbranched. Okay, and it is multinucleated. In the exam, they ask me if the skeletal muscle is multinucleated. Multinucleated means in the cell we know that there is a single nucleus is there, no, but here there is a multinucleus is present. It is also called as the synactium. Okay, and light and dark bands are present in this. Okay, why light and dark bands, I will tell you in the next lecture, in the next slide. It was controlled by the central nervous system. Okay, so it was controlled by the central nervous system, so that is the voluntary movement. Okay, so here it can be moved by the voluntary movement, so that is the skeletal muscle. Okay, so here we can move our hand by the skeletal by the voluntarily, right? So that is called as a voluntary movement. Okay, so here when it comes to the blood supply, here is the abundant in the striated muscles. Okay, why it is called as a striated means presence of the light and the dark bands. Okay, now let us come to the smooth muscles or the visceral muscles. Okay, so these smooth muscles are present in the iris of the eye and urinary bladder, urinogenital tract, dermis of the skin. Okay, so here when it comes to the smooth muscle, the shape of the smooth muscle is spindle shaped. Okay, so it will looks like this spindle shaped. 1 minute. Okay, it will looks like this shape, right? My diagram is not good, guys, sorry. Okay, it will looks like this spindle shaped, right? So the non-striated muscles or the smooth muscles are spindle shaped. Okay, so it was unbranched and it is uninucleated. Only one nucleus is present in this type of the cells. Okay, and the light and dark bands are absent. That's why it is called as a non-striated. Okay, so and it was converted by the ANS system of the brain. Okay, now autonomous nervous system. Okay, ANS means, and the blood supply is very less in the non-striated in the smooth muscles. Okay, guys. Now let us come to the cardiac muscle. We know about the cardiac muscle, right? The cardiac muscles are present in the walls of the heart, right? That's why the name was given the cardiac. Okay, it is the skeleton. It was the cylindrical in structure, and it is also branched. It is also uninucleated. Okay, so only multinucleated is present in the skeletal muscles. Okay, and light and dark bands are present here. Okay, light and dark bands are present in the cardiac muscles also, and it was controlled by both central nervous system and the autonomic nervous system. It is also involuntary. When it comes to the smooth muscles and the cardiac muscles, they are the involuntary in nature. Okay, and the blood supply was rich here. Okay, guys, do you have any doubt in this? You don't have any doubt? Type me yes. Mayuri, Papun Sahu, Shiva. Okay, you can. Okay, guys, if you don't have any doubt means we can move to the next. Okay. One minute. Okay. Okay, guys, let us see here. One minute, guys. Okay, let us see here how the muscle is made up of. Okay, so first going to this muscle, so it was attached here to the tendons. Okay, so it was a connective tissue. It was attached to this tendon. So here the tendon was attached to the bone. Okay, so here you can see the muscle. This muscle is made of, here muscle is covered by one of the connective tissue. So that is called as the epimysium. Okay, so it was covered by the connective tissue that is called as the epimysium. Here you can see this. This is consisting of the so many of the fascicula. Okay, so this is this. There are the so many things, right? So this one is called as the fascicle. Okay, this fascicle was covered by the perimysium. Okay, so if they in the exam they asked about the fascicle was covered by that was the perimysium. Okay, if they ask about the muscle means that is the epimysium. Okay, you can see here in the fascicle, you can see so many of these small things, right? So this is called as the muscle fiber. Okay, so you can see here, this is the muscle fiber. So this muscle fiber is consisting of the so many microfibrils. Okay, so here you can see this structure is the microfibrils. Okay, here this microfibrils is consisting of the alternative light and dark bands. Okay, alternative light and dark bands. Can anyone tell me what is the light band and dark band here? Can anyone tell me what is the light and dark band here? Okay, guys. The light band is made up of the actin filament. Okay. Okay. So the light band here is actin filament. Light band is actin filament. And dark band is consisting of the myosin filament. Okay, myosin. So light band is also called as the I band. Light band is also called as the I band. And so the dark band, myosin band is also called as the A band. Okay. What do you mean by I and A here is I means isotropic, whereas the A means anisotropic. What do you mean by I means? So here, so the properties of this is the properties, when it comes to the physical properties, all the physical properties are same in the actin filament. But when it comes to the myosin, the physical properties are not same. So that's why it is called as the anisotropic. Okay. So this is here made up of the myofibrils. So here I will repeat once again. So the when it comes to the muscle, it was attached to the tendons. The tendons is attached to the bone. Okay. So here in the muscle, the outer covering of the connective tissue, it is called as the epimysium. And in the when it comes to the muscle, it is made up of the bundles of the thing. For example, one pen is there here, right? So here a lot of the bundles of the pen I took. So this bundle is called as a muscle. Okay. So if I take this single pen, so this is called as a fascicle. Okay. Inside this fascicle, there is a riffle, right? There are so many riffles inside this. Okay. So that is called as the muscle fiber. Okay. So now this fascicula is covered by the connective tissue. So that is called as the perimysium. Okay. So here you can see perimysium. Then this is the inside the covering. So the covering of the muscle fiber is called as the endomysium. Okay. This muscle fiber is consisting of the alternative band. So that is called as the myofibrils. So that is consisting of the light and the dark bands. Here light bands is consisting of the actin filament. Dark band is consisting of the myosin. Okay. Okay, guys. You can see here. I have told you that light bands and the dark bands, right? So here you can see this is the sarcomere. If they ask about the structural and functional unit of the skeletal muscle is sarcomere. Okay. It is the structural and functional unit of the muscle, skeletal muscle. Structural and functional unit. Okay. So here you can see this high band is there. No, so this high band I told you that this is made up of the actin filament, right? So that is very thin very thin, and here it is made up of the dark band, right? So this dark band is called as the myosin filament. Okay, guys. Here, where this I band will meet, no, so that is called as the Z band. So here it is called as the Z line. Okay. So where it is meets here, there is the things is called as the Z line. Okay. In the center of the myosin filament, so there is a small things is there, right? So this round color, this is the round thing. So this is called as the M line. Okay, this is the structure of the sarcomere. So this all the things. So together these things is called as the one sarcomere. Okay. Do you understood this? Can we move to the next slide? Okay, guys, I will move to the next slide. Okay. Okay. So we have know that I have told you that the actin filament is a thin filament and also the myosin filament, right? So here we will see the structure of the contractile protein, this protein. Okay. Here I will tell you, I have told you that actin filament, right? Actin filament. Kindly observe this. Don't confuse these things. Okay. Here actin filament is made up of the 2F actin. Okay. So here it is made up of 2F actin. Okay, so here you can see this round structure, right? So this one structure, it was coiled around the another structure, right? So these two things, one is coiled around another. So there is a one structure, so the one F actin, there is another F actin which is coiled together. So there are two actin in the one actin filament. Okay, there are two F actin. Here, how this F actin was made means by the polymerization. Okay, F actin was formed by the polymerization of the globular actin protein. Okay, the F actin is formed by the globular actin protein. Okay, so it was made by these are the cytoskeletal proteins. Okay, this F actin is made up by the globular actin protein. Okay, now do you have any confusion in the actin? Do you have any confusion in the actin? So here actin filament is made up of the two F actin. So each F actin is made up of the globular actin protein. So that is the round color you are observing, right? So this single round one is called as the globular. It was globular in structure. So that is the actin protein. Okay. So here you can see this globular actin protein was bounded by the another line-like structure, right? So this was called as the tropomyosin molecule. Okay. So tropomyosin molecule. So here the another thing is troponin. Troponin was bind to the tropomyosin molecule whenever the muscles are relaxed, right? On that time, this troponin will bind to the tropomyosin and it was it was not allowing the actin binding site for the myosin. Okay, so that's why so the troponin bind to this tropomyosin during the relaxed muscle state. Okay, guys, tropomyosin, troponin. Okay, don't forget about this two words. Do you have any confusion in this actin? Okay, let us move to the myosin. Okay, so when it comes to the myosin consisting of the two parts mainly. Okay, myosin consisting of the two parts. First one is called as the head and the collar part. Head and collar part. And second one is called as the tail. Okay. Happens in the myosin, you can see here, this the middle structure is called as the myosin. Okay. So here you can see myosin structure in the last thing. So here there is a head part. So this is the head, right? So this is the head part where it is going to attach to the ATP molecule. It has the two sides. It has the two sides. One is for the ATP binding and another is for the actin binding. Okay. So this head and the followed by the collar. And so here you can see that long tail-like structure, right? So if the myosin is made up of the two structure, one is the head and collar, where the ATP and the actin binding site is present on the head, and the other part is the tail structure. Okay. So this tail structure is involved in the movement of the actin filament during the muscle contraction. Guys, do you have any confusion in this? If you have any confusion, you can tell me. Or can we move to the next? Answer me, guys. Can we move to the next slide? Okay. Okay, guys. So now we can see how the mechanism of the muscle contraction will take place. Okay. So how our muscle is going to be contracted. Okay. So the mechanism of the muscle contraction is best explained by the sliding filament theory. Okay. So what the sliding filament theory exactly tells is, so the sliding of the thin filament over the thick filament. Okay. Don't forget about this. here the sliding of the thin filament over the thick filament. Okay, not the thick filament over the thin filament. Okay, so here you can see the junction between the motor neuron and the sarcolemma of the muscle is called as the neuromuscular junction. Okay, for example, here is the muscle, here is the nerve fiber was coming from here. Okay, it was carrying the some signal. Okay, so there is some gap between muscle and this nerve fiber, right? So this is called as this gap is called as the neuromuscular junction. Okay, so this called as the neuromuscular junction or the motor end plate. Okay, guys. Then the neural signal reaching this junction release the neurotransmitter which generates the action potential. Whenever the brain send the signals to the muscle to contract, on that time the signal was released. Okay, released in the neuromuscular junction. Okay, so that signal was released here is the form of the chemical. So that is called as the acetylcholine. Okay, so here now the acetylcholine is going to bind on the it is going to bind on the neuromuscular junction where it is causes the generation of the action potential. Okay. So what happens next? This spreads through the muscle fiber and cause the release of the calcium ion. When the acetylcholine was released by the nerve fiber in the neuromuscular junction, the muscles was activated. Here, there is a release of the calcium will take place. Okay. So now the calcium was increases. The binding of the calcium to the subunit of the troponin on the actin filament, thereby remove the masking of the active site on the myosin. I have told you whenever the muscle was relaxed on that, so there was a troponin will come and bind to the tropomyosin. Thereby, it is hiding the binding of the myosin site on the actin. I have told you, right? So like that, what will happen when the calcium ion concentration was increases? So this calcium ion is going to remove the troponin from the, so that was going to be just slide the, okay, just to slide the so that is troponin from the actin filament. Okay, so now the troponin was not there, it is there but it was not going to inhibit that binding site of the myosin on the actin. Now what will happen? So there is a utilizing the energy of the ATP hydrolysis, myosin now binds to the exposed active site on the actin filament and the cross bridge. Okay, using this ATP molecule, we know that ATP is the energy molecule, right? By using this ATP molecule, now this myosin head is there. No, I will show you in the diagram also. This myosin head is going to bind to the, here you can see. So this is the myosin head. Okay, yeah, I will explain you by this only. So this is the actin filament, right? So this is the myosin head. So what will happen by utilizing the, here ATP was hydrolyzed. Okay, when ATP was hydrolyzed, the myosin got the energy. Okay, then it will going to bind to the actin binding site on the actin. Okay, when it binds to this, you can see here the actin filament was slided. So this is the myosin, this was the actin. So by this it will just slide this. Okay, so just it was slided this. So what will happen now? So it was slided the actin filament. Now what will happen? There's a contraction will take place here. Okay. So after the thing, what will happen? The ATP molecule was again bind to this. So the again bind to this. The binding of the ATP releases the myosin head from the actin binding site. Okay. So again, what will happen? Again, the contraction happen. Contraction has to be begin means what will happen? The myosin has to utilize this ATP, hydrolyze this ATP, and then it is going to bind to this actin binding site. Then the muscle contraction will take place again. You can see here. So what I told you, this is the nerve file. This is from the nerve, there is the carrying of the chemical molecules. So that was enter into this neuromuscular junction. Okay. So now it was reached to the muscle, that is acetylcholine. Now there is an increase in the calcium concentration. So now calcium will, what will do? Calcium is going to remove the troponin. Then there is a binding site on the actin was released now. So now the myosin is going to bind to the actin binding site, right? So here you can see what will happen. So these all the calcium ions, this brown color thing, it is going to bind to this troponin. Okay, this blue color is the troponin. When it is bind, you can see now it was releasing the actin binding site. So you can see here, right? So now it is going to slide the actin filament now. Okay, see here. So how the contraction is going to take place here? So the before the relaxation, it is like this. Now it is going to stretch here. Okay, it is going to be contract here, right? So this is called as a muscle contraction. Okay, guys, do you have any confusion in this? Guys, do you have any confusion in this? Mayuri, Shivani, if you have any doubt, you can tell me in the chat box. I will explain you once again. Mayuri, Shivani. Do you have doubt? Mayuri? Okay, dear, I will repeat once again. Okay. What will happen during the muscle contraction, I will tell you. Okay. So I have told you there is a light band. So that is a actin band. There is a myosin band, right? So what will happen? This myosin is not going to slide. Okay. It consisting of this head, right? This is the head. So whenever there is a relaxed state, there is no signal from the brain. What will happen? So the troponin here, the blue thing is there, no? It is going to bind on the active side. So it is going to bind on the actin side. Okay. Myosin, this myosin head is there, no? It is going to bind on the actin. So here is the made up of globular actin, right? So it is going to bind to this actin. Okay. So after the signal from the brain, so acetylcholine is released. The calcium ion concentration was increases. Okay. Now the calcium ion come and bind to this troponin. Okay. Releasing this binding site of the actin now. So now this myosin is going to bind to this released actin site. Okay. When it bind to this released actin site, now it will going to just move. It is going to just move the actin filament. Okay. Like this. No, dear, no. The troponin, it is not going to bind to this troponin, okay? It is going to bind to the actin site. Okay. Shivani, are you Mayuri? Okay. It is not going to bind to the troponin, it is going to bind to the actin filament. Troponin is going to just inhibit the binding of the actin myosin filament here. Okay. Okay. Okay, guys. So now we have came to the skeletal system. Okay. So how the skeletal system is made up of? Okay. So let us see here. The skeletal system is consisting of the bones and cartilage, right? So here in the human being, in the starting only we have told you that it is made up of the 206 bones, right? So it is made up of axial skeleton. So axial skeleton, here in the axial skeleton, it is made up of the skull, the vertebral column in the dorsal side. So guys, here whenever I told you that ventral side, where the nose is present, so that is the ventral side. Okay. So our back is the dorsal side. Okay. So the axial system is consisting of the 80 bones and it was distributed to the skull, vertebral column, sternum and the ribs. Okay. So here the skull and the vertebral column in the dorsal side and the sternum in the ventral side and the ribs. Okay. So these 80 bones are distributed to this. Okay. Now let us come to the skull first. Okay. So the skull is composed of the two set of bones. Okay, guys. So the first is called as the cranial and another one is called as the facial. When it comes to cranial, you can see that the protective layer, so that is brain was covered by the protective layer, so that is called as a cranial bone, right? So here the skull is made up of the cranial bone and the facial bone. So here there is total of 22 bones in the skull. Okay, in the skull only there are 22 bones including the facial and the cranial. Okay, guys. Let us come to cranial bone. Okay. So in the cranial, there are 8 number of the bones are present. Okay, in the 8 number. So they are hard and protective outer covering of the cranium of the brain. Okay, did you understood this? Skeletal system, I have told you that about the axial. Mayuru, did you understood this? Okay. In the skeletal system, we have told that axial skeleton. Axial skeleton is made up of the 80 bones. The axial skeleton, wherever this axial skeleton is present, distributed is in the skull, in the vertebral column, sternum, and the ribs. Okay. So here in the skull, we see that cranial and the facial nerves. Sorry, cranial and the facial bones. Here there are 22 bones in the skull. So here, let us come to the cranial bones. There are the 8 number of the bones in the cranial bones. They form the hard protective outer covering in the brain. Okay. Okay. Let us see here when it comes to the facial bone. So let us come to the facial region. Here it is made up of the 14 skeletal element. Okay. In the skull there is a 9. In the skeletal there is the 14 elements which form the front part of the skull. Okay. Which form the front part of the skull here. Okay. Let us see here the U-shaped bone. Here the U-shaped bone which is present here, right, near the buccal cavity. So it is called as the hyoid bone. Okay, guys, hyoid bone is present in the base of the buccal cavity. Okay. So including this only, there are 22 bones are present. Okay. Okay. So we know that the middle here that is consisting of the ear ossicle, right? So ear ossicles contain the that are malleus, incus, and the stapes muscle, which is the shortest bone present in the human body. Can anyone tell me which is the shortest bone present in the human body? Very good. Very good, Shivani. Stapes, right? So these are the ear ossicles, including this, the facial nerve. Okay. The facial bone. Yes, Mayuri, good. Okay. Now let us come to the skull region articulates with the superior region of the vertebral column with the help of the two occipital condyles. Okay. Here the skull region which is connected to the superior of the vertebral column by the two occipital condyles here. Okay. So guys, here we have learnt about the skull. It is consisting of the cranial and the facial bone. In the cranial, we have learnt about the 8 bones, and in the facial, we have learnt about the 14 skeletal bones, including the hyoid and the ear ossicle. Right? Okay. Now let us come to the axial skeleton. I have told you here, right? So here in the skull, the protective layer of the brain. So that is the skull. Okay. So here you can see vertebral column, right? Can you tell me where the vertebral column is situated? In the ventral or the dorsal side? Guys, can you tell me where the vertebral column is present? In the ventral or dorsal side? Mayuri? Dorsal side, okay? Dorsal. No, Shivani, ventral side is near to the, I have told you, right? So that is a nose. Where is the nose? So that is the ventral side, okay? So the back is the dorsal side. Don't confuse, okay? The sternum is present in the ventral side, whereas the vertebral column is present in the dorsal side. The back is the dorsal. Okay. Okay, guys. Let us come to the vertebral column. Okay. So the vertebral column here, it is made up of the 26 serially arranged units. So that is called as a vertebrae, right? So there are the 26 vertebrae. So that are present dorsally, right? So there is a, in the vertebral column, there is a hollow cylinder-like position, right? So inside there is a hollow structure, right? So from this hollow structure, the nerve fibers are emerges. Okay. So they are given that vertebral has the central hollow portion through which the spinal cord passes. Okay, guys. So here you can see the first vertebra is called as the atlas. Okay. It articulates in the occipital condyle. Now let us see how many vertebral columns are present. Okay. So here in the vertebral column, it is differentiated into the cervical. In the cervical, we can see 7. Okay. So here you can see cervical, there is the 7 vertebral column in the cervical region. So whereas in the thoracic, there are the 12, and in the 5, there is the lumbar. In the in the sacrum, you have the 5 fused. Okay. In the 4 or the coccyx, which is also fused. So this is about the vertebral column. Okay, guys. So 7 is in the cervical, 12 is in the thoracic, 5 is in the lumbar, and the 1 is the 2 is in the circle. So that is the 1 is fused and another one is called as a coccygeal. Okay. Do you understood this vertebral column? Guys, answer me. Do you understood this vertebral column, Mayuri? Okay. Mayuri? Okay, guys. Let us go to the ribs. Okay. I have told you how the ribs is situated, right? So you can see that lateral position here, right? So the lateral position, we see the ribs. Okay. So here the ribs ventrally. So the ventrally, the ribs was attached to the ventrally, it was attached to the sternum. Okay, ventrally. So ventrally, it was attached to the sternum, whereas it was dorsally attached to the vertebral column. So there are 12 ribs we can see. Okay. So here you can see 12 ribs. So this is the ribs, right? So the sternum, the ribs, and the vertebral column. Together, this all the things is called as a rib cage. Okay. So here you can see, this is the ventral position. Here you can see sternum. Okay. In the ventral position, this rib cage, the ribs was attached to the sternum. In the dorsal position, you can see here the long structure, right? So it was attached to the vertebral column. Okay. So guys, here you have to remember this thing. I have told you there are 12 ribs, right? Here, from 1 to 7, it is called as the true ribs. Why it is called as the true ribs means it was attached to the vertebral column directly. Okay, vertebral column directly. So that's why it is called as the true ribs. Okay. So here you can see false ribs. Okay, from 8, 9, and 10, it is called as the false ribs because it was not directly attached to the vertebral column. It is attached to the 7th ribs. Okay, 7th ribs. So this is the 7th rib, right? So the 8, 9, and 10 was attached to the 7th rib. So that's why it is called as the false rib. Okay, and another two. So that is the 11 and 12 is called as the floating ribs because it was not attached to the anything. So that was the sternum and to the vertebral column. So that's why it is called as a floating ribs. Okay, guys. So together of this, all the things, sternum, vertebral column, and the ribs, this all the things is called as a rib cage. Okay, cage. Guys, did you understood this? Mayuri, Shivani, if you have any confusion in this? If you don't have confusion, tell me yes. Okay. Okay, let us move to the next. Okay. Okay, Shivan. Okay. Now let us come to the appendicular skeleton. Okay. Where this appendicular skeleton here is, you can see this in the limbs. Okay. In the forelimbs and the hind limbs. Okay. Forelimbs, you can see that hand, and the hind limbs is the leg. Okay. Okay, guys, you can see here appendicular skeletons. Okay. So the bones of the limbs along with their girdle. Okay. Along with their girdle. So that is constitute the appendicular skeletons. Okay. So the each limb. So we have told that each limb is made up of the 30 bones here. Okay. 30 bones. Here, the bones of the hand is called as the forelimb. We know that bones of the hand. So it is made up of the humerus. So this is called as the humerus, right? So this is the bones of the hand. This is the humerus. And when it comes to this, here is the radius and the ulna is present, right? So this is the, you can see this is the humerus. So this, both the things is called as the one is radius and the ulna, right? So humerus, radius, ulna, and carpals. So in the wrist region, you can see the carpal. Okay, the carpal is present in this wrist region, and the metacarpals are present in this palm region. Okay, this palm region you can see the metacarpal, and you can see these are the phalanges. Okay, so here there are 14 digits. Here there are 14 digits are present. So that is the bones. Okay. Now we can come to the femur. Okay, I think you understood about the forelimb, right? Mayuri, Ria, Parmar, and Shivani, did you understood about the forelimb? Ria, Parmar, and the Mayuri. Okay, the forelimb is consisting of the radius, first consisting of the humerus and radius ulna, and so where in the wrist you can see the carpal, in the thumb you can see the metacarpal, this fingers we can see the phalanges. Okay, so here in the humerus and radius ulna, so in the carpal we can see the 8 bones. Okay, in the carpal, in the exam they may ask you, in the wrist bone we can see the 8 number of the bones. Okay, in the metacarpal we can see the 5, and in the phalanges we can see the 14. Okay, now let us come to the femur. Femur is the thigh bone. It is also called as the hind limb, right? So this is the longest bone present in the human body. The shortest bone, already you told us, so that is the in the ears. You can see that, right? So femur and tibia, femur, tibia and fibula. So here you can see the, in the leg you can see the, 1 minute. In the leg you can see the femur, right? So this is the very longest bone in the human body. So femur. Here you can see the tibia and the fibula. Okay. Here you can see here. So this is the tarsal. In this leg region you can see the metatarsal, and the fingers are the phalanges. Okay. Okay. Femur is the thigh bone. So we have seen that in the so the phalanges in the both the hind limb and the forelimb consisting of the 14 in number. Okay, and the tarsal consisting of the seven bones, and the metacarpal same, that is also consisting of the 4 bone. Okay, so these all are the bones of the leg. If they ask about the bones of the leg, you have to give me that femur, tibia, fibula, tarsal, metatarsal, and the phalanges. Okay, guys, do you see that there is a cup shaped structure in the bone, right? So cup shaped structure you can see near here, right? In the where the femur and the tibia and fibula will bind. So where you can see the some cup shaped structure, right? So that is called as the patella. Okay. So that is called as the knee, right? So that is a knee. So that is called as the patella. And you can come here. So that is the pectoral and the pelvic girdle. Okay. So pectoral girdle you can see here, and the pelvic girdle in the below. So the pectoral girdle you can see here. Pectoral girdle bone helps in the articulation of the upper and the lower limbs. Upper, this where the pectoral girdle is going to help. Okay. Upper and the lower limbs respectively with the axial skeleton. Okay. So pectoral is helping in the upper limb, whereas the pelvic girdle is going to help in the lower limb. Okay. So each girdle is formed of the 2 halves. So that is the pectoral. Okay. So each half is made up of the pectoral girdle is made up of the clavicle and the scapula. I am telling only about the pectoral girdle. Okay. It is made up of the 2 things. One is the clavicle and another one is the scapula. Right. Okay. So here the clavicle is a long slender bone with the 2 curvature. This bone is also called as the collar bone. It may ask in the questions, okay, which bone is called as the collar bone. Okay, you have to answer that clavicle in the pectoral girdle. Okay, so that is called as the collar bone. Okay, guys. Now let us come to the pelvic girdle. So here the pelvic girdle is consisting of the 2 coxal bones. Okay, so here you can see. So here this is the 1 coxal bone. Here it is the 1 coxal bone. Here there is another coxal bone. Okay. So here the each coxal bone is made up of the ilium, pubis, and the ischium. Okay. So each is consisting of the, so 1 minute. So each coxal bone is formed of the fusion of this ilium, ischium, and the pubis, guys. Okay. So now let us come to the two halves of the pelvic girdle meet ventrally to form the pubic symphysis containing the fibrous cartilage tissue. Okay, this is the important. So you can learn this thing. Okay, this is made up of the, this is important thing. So that is the ilium, ischium, and the pubis. I have told you that this is the coxal bone. So here you can see the two coxal bone. So here it is made up of the pubis, ischium, and the ilium. Okay. Okay, guys, we have came to the last. So that is the joints. Okay, today we are learned about, now we will learn about the joints now. Okay, so where two or more bones joints. Okay, where two bones join, so that is called as the joints. Okay, so the joint is a point of contact. So it is the point of contact between the bones, or between the bones and the cartilage is called as the joints. Okay, there are mainly three types of the joints. You can see here, one is called as the fibrous joints. Second one is called as the cartilaginous joints. Third one is called as the synovial joints. Okay. Joints, there are three types: fibrous, cartilaginous, and the synovial joint. So we will come to the synovial joints. Okay, sorry. When it comes to the fibrous joints, this fibrous joints you can see in the skull region. Okay, it is not going to help in the movement. Okay, so the fibrous joints is not going to help in the movement, whereas the cartilaginous joint help some only in the small extent it will help in the movement. So that is cartilaginous joint, where you can see between the two vertebrae. So this we have seen the 26 vertebral, right? So one vertebral, there is a second another vertebral. Between these two is called as a cartilaginous joints. Okay, between these two is called as a cartilaginous joint. It will going to help in the only some extent of the movement. Okay. Okay, let us come to the third one. So that is called as a synovial joint. 1 minute, guys. Okay, so here we can come to the synovial joint. Okay, so here the synovial joints are characterized by the presence of synovial fluid. Okay, presence of the synovial fluid. So synovial cavity between the articulating the surface of the two bones. Between the two bones, there is a one cavity where synovial fluid are present between that. So that is called as a synovial joint. Okay. The only joint which is helping in the movement is called as the synovial joint. Okay. It allows the considerable movement, and this joint helps in the locomotion and the many other movement. Okay, guys. Here the fibrous joint and the cartilaginous joint. So here the fibrous joints is not at all allowing the movement. It is present in the skull. Okay. So whereas the cartilaginous joint, it is present between the vertebrae. It is moving. It is helping in the movement somewhat, some only in the some extent. Whereas the synovial joints is only helping in the movement and the locomotion. Okay. Guys, here you can see. So this is the joints. Okay. Right. So here you can see the fibrous joint. Here it is present in the, it is in the skull. Okay, this is in the skull region. Here you can see A, right? So this is the A thing. So you can see in the skull. It is a fibrous connective tissue. It is not at all moving, not at all helping in the movement. The B you can see between the here B, right, vertebral column. And synovial joint you can see here GDE. You can see here. So this all the things is the synovial joint. Okay. So the joints are present here where the two bones are meeting, right? So this all the box things are the joint. So that is a synovial joint. Okay. We can move freely, right? Like this. So this is due to the synovial joint is present here. There is a presence of the synovial fluid here. Okay, guys. Okay, 1 minute. Guys, here you can see in the synovial joint, we can see this. So the ball and the socket joint. Ball and the socket joint is between the humerus and the pectoral girdle. So ball and socket joint you can see here. Okay. So you can see here. So there is a pectoral girdle and there is a humerus, right? Between these two is the ball and the socket joint. Okay. So hinge joint. Hinge joint was present in the knee joint. Okay. Where the knee joint is present, there is a hinge joint is present. Okay. Pivotal joint is between the atlas. So that is the first vertebral column, right? So that is the pivotal joint, pivot joint. The next thing is a gliding joint. Where is this gliding joint is present? Between the carpals, okay? So between this carpal, so that is in the wrist, okay? In the wrist, you can see the gliding joint, okay? And the saddle joint. Saddle joint is present between the carpal and the metacarpal. So this is the carpal, the thumb region. So the thumb region. So this is the wrist region is the carpal. The metacarpal is the thumb region. Between these two, you can see the saddle joint. Okay. So here you can see the gliding joint in between the carpals. So the saddle joint in between the carpal and the metacarpal. Guys, do you have any confusion in this? Guys, do you have any confusion in this? If you don't have any confusion, tell me yes. Tell me yes in the chat box, guys. Okay. Let us see how much you understood, okay? Guys, answer to this question. Answer to this question, guys, okay? So here is the question is match the following joints with their bones involved. Now only I explained you, right? That only, okay? So in the option is, you can match this and you can answer me, okay? I am going to give you 50 seconds for this. You can answer me. First read the question. After that, I will run the poll, okay, guys? You can read the question. After that, I will run the poll. Ria already answered. Okay, guys, I'm going to run the poll. You can answer me in the poll, okay? I'm going to give you 30 seconds for this question. You can answer me in the poll. I'm going to give you 40 seconds, guys, okay? Everyone answered. Only 25% has to be answered. Guys, answer me. 5 more seconds left. Okay, guys, I'm going to end the poll. So here 75% have chosen the option A, 25% have chosen option B, and no one chosen option C and option D. Okay, guys, let us see. Okay, I have told you that hinge, right? So here between the carpal and the metacarpal, you can see by only seeing this, you can answer this, right? So this is the easy question. So hinge joint is between the knee. So pivotal joint is between the atlas and the axis, right? Pivotal joint is between the, so for the third, the thing is second, right? So in the third, you can see option A is the correct answer, guys. Okay. So the gliding joint you're going to see between the carpal. So hinge joint is between the humerus. 1 minute. Okay, Tejas. Okay. This slide. Tejas, do you ask about this slide? Tejas, did you ask about this slide? Kindly see this, guys. So this is a very important slide, okay? By this only you can answer, right? Okay, 1 minute. One minute. Yeah, you can see here, guys. Okay, I will explain you in this. Okay, so here you can see pivotal joint, right? So pivotal joint is present between the atlas, right? atlas. So that is the C1 and the vertebrae. So it was present in the C1 and the C2 vertebrae. So they may ask you about the atlas also. So that is the pivotal joint. Okay. So here you can see hinge joint. Hinge joint where you can see in between the humerus and the ulna. So humerus and between the radius and ulna you can see the hinge joint, right? So here you can see this is the carpal and the metacarpal. Between the carpal and the metacarpal you can see the saddle joint, right? So and the ball and the socket joint. Here you can see between the, so this is the femur, right? So here you can see this. Okay. Between the pectoral girdle and the humerus, sorry, femur. So this is the ball and socket between pectoral and femur. Okay, guys. And here you can see, so that is a condyle joint is between the radius carpal bones of the wrist. Okay. Guys, do you have any confusion in this? Option A is the correct answer. Guys, do you have any confusion in this? You can ask me. I will explain you once again. Wherever you have the confusion, you can ask me. I will explain you once again. Okay, guys. Here is the homework for you. Read this complete chapter. If you have any confusion, you can ask me in the next class also. Okay, no problem. And you solve some model question based on this. Okay. The model questions were not solved means you can ask me. I will help you in that. Okay. Okay, guys. So let us end the class. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Otherwise, I am going for the NPS poll. Mayuri, you don't have module questions? Mayuri, you don't have any module questions? Okay, fine. I will tell to send. Okay. Okay, dear. You understood, right? This all the concept, locomotion and the movement. So the bones and which are the bones are present in the each part. So that are the very important things. Okay. And the difference between the skeletal, cardiac and the smooth muscle is very important. If they ask in the exam that is which is the longest bone, which is the longest smooth muscle means you have to answer that uterus. Okay. During the pregnancy. So whenever during the pregnancy it was stretched, right? On that time it was relaxed. So on that time it is the longest smooth muscle. Okay. You know that is the pregnancy uterus is the longest smooth muscle. Okay, guys, I'm going for the NPS poll. Kindly give me your fire feedback. Sorry, 1 minute. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Still, if you have any question, you can ask me, guys. I will answer you. Okay, Shivani. Okay, dear. Bye. Okay, guys, let us see in the next class. Okay, in the next class, we can learn about the nervous system. So that is very important. You can get the so many questions from that. We'll see in the next class. So that is the central nervous system. Sorry, nervous system. Okay. Bye, guys. Bye.